Yeah, it's interesting because the very next question that I have is that how does someone know? How do they know that they, or a business know that they're ready to adopt this technology? And I think that leads in really well because I talk to tomorrow. Oh, we've got to do this, and this stuff is scary. I mean, I'm not a techie so per se, but we obviously in our line of business come across multiple, hundreds of different software applications and different bits of tech. This stuff is new. It's a little daunting. I'm still tapping my iPhone, trying to work out sometimes how it works. So how does a business know that they're ready? How talking about that process, if you ran into a business, where would you say not just yet in terms of the processes you have in place, or hey, you're ready to adopt?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that we do. There's a process that we follow to determine, one, is a customer ready? Is somebody ready to roll it out? And then two, how hard is that going to be? How hard are we going to have to push in order to get them to be successful? So I think if you're resistant to change, right? And there's always going to be people, right? There's going to be people that may be resistant to change, but if the company's culture, the organizational culture is a bit resistant to change, then we typically won't get started. It doesn't make any sense. You need to have an innovative leader that will be responsible for this program, and it is a program, right? You can call it whatever you want. There's certainly your remote assistance or virtual support or whatever you want to do, but you need to have that defined, and it needs to be somebody who's responsible for that and who has the chops to get it done. But and then the other thing is, sort of the not ready, as you mentioned, there's not really a compelling event in our market, right? I mean, many times when we are talking to prospects, there is no real compelling event. So it's really just about, well, listen, if you're going to impact your first time fix rate by 20%, or if you're going to save, $20,000 a month, and we have customers saving way more than that, then the compelling event is why not? Why not start saving that $20,000 a month in August as opposed to in December, right? So those are the kinds of questions we ask.
Yeah, I guess it is that urgency. We see it in everything, trying to have our clients adopt the new and latest technologies, but the right fit technology at the same time. How, speaking with us in the room that have all got a little bit of grey, I'm only 23, but how I've often wondered, like, you've got some really talented technicians, right? And seriously, to the older guys in the industry, I'm not being disrespectful at all, but because some of them probably know how to use an iPhone better than I do, type of thing. However, is there a reluctance from, and when I say older guys, I mean more experienced, and generally that comes with number of years. Is there a reluctance for them to adopt it? Like, what's the best way? Do I get my technician who's 50, who's got 20, 30 years experience, to learn how to use this first to help the younger guys and girls? Or is it a little bit in the middle where you've got that, I'm seriously, I'm 40, I think, this year. So I got introduced to computers 6, 7, 8, I think it was, with the first one. So I'm in that, I guess, that generation. Where do you start? Because I see a lot of fear around this. Do we give it to the kid, but then the kid hasn't got any experience? Or do we try and get the old guy to adopt it and run with it? How do you see that playing out?
Yeah, there certainly is resistance, as I mentioned, and there's obstacles to adoption. Whereas there's a lot of kind of best practices that we have around that. I think one of the ones you sort of mentioned, listen, if somebody's 50 or 60 and they probably don't necessarily want to be a road warrior anymore. So, but they're gold, right? They're gold to the company. So if you can say, listen, you can work from your home, or you can work from your home city and support these new engineers that are going out. You've got all of this knowledge in your head, you've got all this experience. Let's use that, and work 3 days a week or whatever. And we've got a lot of our customers that are doing that with their more experienced technicians to allow them to continue to work, when their knees aren't as good as they used to be. And it's been pretty valuable. But listen, there's no secret, right? Change is hard. Adopting new technology can be scary. And many times, as I said, the ones that are most successful of our customers are the ones that have an innovative leader in place and puts the right incentives in place and requires people to change and use it. And quite frankly, with this type of solution, once you see success a couple of times, then success breeds success, and you start seeing many other people use it.
Absolutely. In fact, I'd like to add on that. One of the things, a moment ago, you were talking about how do we know when a company's ready? And I would say that in terms of financial justification and readiness to benefit from the technology, companies are ready. How are they ready to be successful at it, right? And I would say, and I don't want us to focus on the negative at all, but I think it's really important to avoid the failure, right? Because what Mark said is success breeds success. And we see that every time. And what you don't want to do is you don't want to take this great technology and plop it down on a call center or a support center where either people haven't embraced it or there's no champion, because you don't want to have to recover lost ground, whether it's with people's attitude or whatever. So I would say a really great sign that an organization is ready to jump into this is that they have a plan or an individual or a small department that can embrace it enthusiastically and make it a success, because you need that champion, you need that people to arouse some interest, some envy, some aspirational goals, like I want to be like that department, I want to be like that division, or like I want to be like that regional office. And I also would caution that while the age is a great indicator, it's really one that you have to be careful of, because you can have that guy, as Mark alluded to, who is, the older guy who's always signing up for the training. He's always asking for the new tool. He's not only showing the guys how to change a compressor, but he's also showing the guys how to use the warranty claim system. And if you can find that guy and get him up on Help Lightning, boy, that's gold. The other thing that I don't want to put Mark on the spot to mention this, but you can have a support team that's 50 people, or you can have a support team scattered around the globe that's 1,000 people. You don't need to, if you want to do a big rollout, the company and the technology lends itself to that. But if you want to say, look, Dennis and Mark, let's take this team of 5 guys in the midst of 1,000 people. Let's make this team of 5 guys successful for 6 months. It really does lend itself to that, particularly because the technology lends itself to a person who has the technology supporting people who've never even heard of the technology, right? So sometimes when a call escalates to a certain level, then it reaches a guy who's employing every trick, he's employing every technique, and that's a great opportunity to show how remote support works.